SEO this week, we take a look at an imaginary search engine the search advocates are thinking up of and some insights we can pull out of that and a whole lot more. Let's get into it.
Are you ready? Are you prepared? Do you have the strength? Everybody wants to win, but they don't understand what it means to sacrifice to win it all. Everybody wants to be a champion, but are you prepared to work hard enough to become the champion that you believe you can be? Do you think you have the mindset now? Do you understand what it means to get into what they call beast mode? But I'm here to let you know right now, ladies and gentlemen, it ain't about being beast mode. It's about life and death mode. It's about putting it on the line. It's about pushing yourself and giving it 110% of everything you got. There is nothing that you can do once you're here except finish what you start. When the weakness starts to talk to you and whisper sweet nothings in your ear, you got to recognize that that conversation doesn't help you. That conversation that you're having with weakness is not gonna build you. It's not gonna push you. It's not gonna lift you. You got to recognize that there's work that must be done. You got to be responsible. You got to be capable. You got to be willing to work for what you want. I know sometimes people like to talk. I know some people like to pretend to be something they're not. I know sometimes people say they're lying, but you can't be a lion if you don't understand the rules of the jungle. So ladies and gentlemen, you got to recognize what it means to sacrifice, what it means to be powerful, what it means to be strong. This is your moment to shine. And if you're not willing to shine, then step aside. If you're not willing to work, then this is not the place for you. You got to toughen up. You got to look up. You got to build up. If you want it, this is the time to go get it. But you gotta work for it. You got to believe in it. You got to trust in it. You got to let the power flow through the veins. The blood is real. The blood will push you. The pump that you're getting in this place right now is gonna take you up and over the top. But if you're not hungry, if you're not willing to get it, then you're gonna starve. You're gonna starve because you're not hungry. You're gonna starve because you're not willing. You're gonna starve because you don't want it. Only the hungry knows how to eat. Only the hungry knows how to fight. You don't have time to step back. You got to go forward. You got to push harder. You got to dig a little bit deeper. Some people, all they do is talk. When you're in this place of business, there is no talking. The only conversation is moving what's in front of you. The only conversation is pushing when you feel you can't push. The only conversation is you against you.
The only conversation is you against you. Something really, really poignant for me, especially last week. We didn't really have a whole lot to write about. As a matter of fact, we didn't publish one article on SEO this week because of the news, as it were, for our industry was kind of bleh. I mean, I could have made up some stuff. I watched some Webmaster Centrals, and I watched a couple of podcasts and stuff. Search Off the Record, for example. And I could have made up some news, but at the end of the day, it probably wouldn't have been helpful. Some of it was interesting, but I don't know if it was necessarily helpful. So I'll take advantage of today and the episode or the show today to just kind of walk you through some of the stuff that I found interesting, in particular with the Search Off the Record podcast. And one of those things, if you don't know what I'm talking about, first let me just share the screen with you. There, hold on. There you go. All right. So, Search Off the Record is a podcast. The search advocates, it's Martin Spitt, John Mueller, and Gary Illis, have or do this. Typically, the episodes come out once a week or so. Obviously, they've been going for quite a while. It's episode 31 at this point. And what they talk about the most, in particular, in this case, is a fake search engine that they want to make, and they're just calling it Steve. And a lot of people are like, "What the heck? Why is a fake search engine relevant for Google?" And it's really all about thinking in perspective. So obviously, these guys probably don't have a lot of influence on changes in the search engine and the algorithms, etc. As a matter of fact, when I spent some time at the Google offices in Seattle, I mean, we were there to see the PPC people, and they told us flat out that they're segregated entirely from the search people. Like, the search people don't get to see this PPC people, and the advertising, all the other advertising things are all segregated in there. And my guess is that that's probably the same for these three guys. Maybe not so much Gary Elias, but Martin Spitt and John Mueller. I'm betting they don't have as direct of an impact as we would like to think they do on the algorithm. So when they have episodes like this podcast, it's really, really enlightening for me. And a couple of the points that were in here that I liked was, in the beginning of the podcast, they talked about how their Steve, their search engine, would potentially address things like keyword stuffing and hidden content and that kind of thing. And that was really on topic for me because we were talking about that in SEO Fight Club last week. And mainly one of the things that they pointed out is it's not so much that the hidden content is bad, it's the intent of the hidden content. And you can accidentally do things like CSS or styling in HTML, or use certain HTML tags, which inevitably make the content hidden. Or you can do a layout thing where you have accordions and tabs and carousels, and for the most part, that content's hidden unless the user engages with it. So ergo, it's hidden content. And then there's the other instances where people are, the old school white background with white text and all that stuff that they mentioned inside of here as well. And what they really wanted to point out was that it was hard for a search engine to determine the intent of the webmaster and why they were hiding that content. And so it's harder for them to detect that algorithmically and then say, oh, we're going to punish all of these, because there's legit uses for content that can't be seen. Again, I gave the example: accordions, tabs, carousels, for example. There's plenty of legit uses for those where you'd have content, 5 tabs down or 4 accordions deep and all that stuff, and then people just won't see that. So they mentioned that search engines are having a problem, or would have a problem discerning user intent. So does that mean you should go out and, and take advantage of it entirely? I would say kinda. In regards to hidden content or using a display none, I know a lot of people talk about those. Ted Kvitis gave a whole bunch of methods to, air quotes, cloak your content. I would do it insofar as it's testing. You have, let's say you have a relationship with your developers or your content team that is tenuous at best, and you bring up ideas and you're like, hey, we should try this out. I would actually go the route of using the hidden stuff, the hidden text or hidden sections or whatever method, the cloaking stuff that Ted talked about, I would use that and see what kind of results you get from your proposed changes. So you're changing the HTML. Google is reading the HTML and analyzing it. John Mueller's already said it in different episodes of Google's Webmaster Central. He said it in Twitter. Gary Elias, I think, has mentioned it sometimes. Google is reading the HTML, whether it's displayable, is on the DOM or not, right? So you can test using those cloaking or hidden text features, see if your changes are going to make a positive and negative impact. And if they make a positive impact, that's when you can take that back off, or say, or point out, hey, this is what I did. Here's the text that I added. Here's what it changed, and push that to your developers or your copywriters and designers, and get that actually implemented on the page in a air quotes legit way, so that the users have some access to it, if that's what you really want, and it'll keep you generally safe. There's also the other option of just doing it and hoping that a narc SEO is not going to find it, because the algorithm clearly is not doing it. So you can implement that and hope narc SEOs don't find it and rat you out. But again, it's all about intent. So if you have 4 or 5 pages that have that treatment done to it and the rest of your site's not, and why would they penalize your entire website for those 4 or 5 things when they don't know the intent of what you're doing in the first place? So there's a lot of ways you can shape and form intent as well. I like to use HTML comments if and when I'm going to implement this method, and it's just so that, one, I know when it's there, I know when I can say why it's there. I can say when it was applied to the page, and when it expires as a test, or that kind of thing, and just kind of leave those annotations there, and that will help you in regards to the narc SEO stuff if you're really worried about that. Most industries really don't have that problem, but there are some that, there's just people that run rampant over it. I mean, luckily for us, especially in local, everyone's worried about policing the maps, and this is the map spammers, etc. And so you get a little bit more of a don't pay attention kind of thing going on with the organic, because the maps are so important to some of those lead gen people, and they don't like it when you beat them at their own game. All right, what else was here? Another thing is they were talking about the language stuff, and if you guys have heard anything about vectoring, what Gary Elias said is that Google or search engines in particular cannot read text. So what they turn the words into symbols or numbers, and then they do what's called vectoring. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I know any about what the hell they're talking about there. I don't even mess with it, but it was pointing to me because we're doing a lot of tests over at SIA, and one of the things we were testing is random alpha for test pages. And if you don't know what that means, it's just taking the alphabet and creating essentially fake words with or entire fake documents with this random alpha thing. And then what I noticed was that I could get those pages indexed. I could search for the URL, and the URL would be there, but they would not rank for anything, not even the target keyword. And I had the target keyword set at 10% keyword density. That's kind of my standard go-to, is 10% keyword density, 2,000 words. And none of them were being ranked. So they'd get indexed, they would get crawled, they would get cracked cache, but they would not be ranked. So I had a theory that maybe Google gave the machine learning AI a dictionary. And if my document had all of these things that weren't in the dictionary, it made no sense to rank them. Or so we tried with some help from Beata. Her name is Beata, and I can't even pronounce her last name, so I'm not going to try. She did one with random English and had pretty much the same result. It was not. It got indexed, or she said that it none of her pages even got indexed. So I didn't have all the URLs myself to verify this, and she was doing her test in conjunction with another test, so it kind of convoluted the waters for me. But she said that none of her stuff got in the index, so that leaves a couple of theories. One, Google got a dictionary, an English dictionary. Two, Google is potentially could be filtering even with using English words, and it's kind of figured out with enough data and stuff that, word X, Y, and Z being together doesn't make any sense. And I think that's where that vectoring come across, right? So if you say a quick brown fox, and then the vectoring would say that a quick brown fox, all those terms are closely related. And if I put in, brown cow, I don't know, brown cow book unicorn, whatever, right? Google's like, the algorithm says the vectoring is just way out of place, whack, and it doesn't belong. So that's a theory. And then the other one we wanted to test was lorem ipsum, because we started with lorem ipsum. Kyle Roof, when he started the whole test craze, or scientific test craze, started with lorem ipsum, so I wanted to test that again. And one of the other testers actually got 5 out of 10 of his pages indexed. I mean, he was all despondent because not all 10 of his pages, and I'm just excited that 5 out of 10 came in. So Google has gotten a Latin dictionary because it's been so exposed to lorem ipsum. A lot of those words could potentially be brought together, ergo maybe the vectoring says, hey, this is okay, and the quality is good or not. So we're still looking at that a little bit more. If you guys have any other ideas about ways to create test pages, I would certainly love to hear them. One of the ones in the search off the record is actually using sci-fi languages. I thought that was pretty interesting. So the 2 examples was Klingon, and I haven't seen I haven't really looked, but I want to see if I can find a Klingon translator. That would be pretty awesome. And the other one was Elvish. And in particular, Gary Elias said that there's plenty of websites that are written in Elvish that are indexed and ranking in Google. So I thought that was fairly interesting, and then so I want to try that out. And it kind of is cool, because if machine learning and AI were finally given dictionaries in foreign languages, you can have a little bit more fun with what's going on, and kind of get a little bit better at at testing, and two at worrying about what you should and shouldn't be doing with your content in regards to optimizing it. So that's exciting. Let's see what else we got. I think that was it for that episode. For the most part, that kind of stuck out to me. Again, those are short, so there's like 30-minute dealios. So if I were you, I'd just go ahead and check those out and listen to them in the background, and maybe you'll pick some stuff up. That's pretty much what I do anyway. So. All right. So in the thumbnail, schema being sexy again. I wanted to get going on this, and what we're going to do this week is actually show you some down and dirty quick stuff for schema to get it applied, while at the same time I'm going to be doing some catching up here with my posting of the episode channels on the website. So we already did episode 1. Let's do episode 2. Gonna stop that before it plays. I got to remove that. Make sure that still works again. Doesn't have the notion of that guy. That guy's horrible. Why did that start at a time? That's fine. We can deal with that. All right. So what we're gonna do is post these and then do the schema on them. I'll talk as much as I need to. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, etc., random questions are fine too. If they're not even related, I don't care. What the hell? We'll just chat away. Let me do this. I wish I could play some music in the background with the stupid. Well, the copyright things in YouTube. I mean, even stuff that I've bought, like I have the rights to use. I still get to mess with or listen to that madness of, oh, this isn't yours, and we're taking your or monetizing it for you, even though I have monetizing in my channel turned off. Anyway, there we go. All signed in. So let's go. Is Google a hot mess? Remember, we're doing a feature. We're doing pages for the videos themselves. So I want to. Is Google a hot mess? And then I need this URL. So all we're doing is the video. We're using the YouTube embed inside of Google for the WordPress for this. Not necessarily bad. We're going to do the sitemap. There we go. Add our URL is video hot mess. Description. I'm just going to leave it here. I'm going to leave it the same. YouTube. And that thumbnail was. I go back here. And to read the whole damn thing is Google said there is no such thing as toxic links and ignore them. They hot mess fire guy. I should have known that. Is it here? Nope. It's in my folders. Jeff Meekin, I'm testing pages with word stuff versus actual word shuffled versus that's word shuffled versus actual text is random English. That's and then the way the generators are made, it does what's the word I'm looking for? The way the generators are made, it actually reduces it uses the most common words that have very little context. If that makes a little bit more sense. I have to find the stupid pictures. Let me switch. I gotta switch over to this because I'm gonna be looking at something that I don't want to share with you guys. So with it's random English, and what that does is essentially there's like the most common selection of terms that are what's the word employed across the English language in written text, and it's subjective to the creators that made said tool of what is the most common. But it has allowed us to create English documents that really have no, no, I want to say meaning. They've been sterilized, as it were. Is sterilized a good use of that word? I think it is, but they've been cleaned up so that you eliminate a lot of different factors. Jesus. There you go. Sorry, I was doing math. So they eliminate a lot of noise that's created in the test that we can actually get into that we see in the test, and what happens is when that noise is eliminated, it just makes it a little bit more definitive that we can say that something is a ranking factor. We will never be able to reverse engineer the search engines, but we can say we think this is a factor because it improved the website or the rankings, or we think that this is not a factor because it didn't do anything, or it could be this is a negative factor because it dropped the website down. And our testing finds all of that stuff. And so it makes it better when we can figure out ways to use in particular contexts or terms or words that have actually no meaning whatsoever, because we can eliminate any understanding of the text and how that may or may not affect a factor identification test. This is what the single variable stuff is all about. It's not about, oh, this is going to improve your rankings in Google. It's about finding factors that may or may not be helpful for us. I don't know if that necessarily makes sense. Finding factors that may or may not be. I mean, it's about finding possible ranking factors that will improve our search engine exposure, or our search engine positioning, or reduce our volatility, all that fancy jazz. At the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're not trying to be cute with it. We're not trying to say, oh, if you do this one thing, you're going to rank higher in Google. We're just saying, with a single variable test, this is what we saw. And this will make things a little bit easier for you when you're trying to rank, right? So, for example, linking a homepage to itself improves the rankings of the homepage. Linking a page to its page improves the rankings of the homepage. However, if you link a page to its page with generic anchor text, you actually don't help. I mean, those are the kind of things that single variable tests pull out. So they're not designed to be used in a vacuum on a live site and expect to get search results from them. And that's because there's multiple factors, and one of those factors is using plain, well-spoken English in a document. It brings in a bunch of other factors, so keyword density, LSI keywords. I know I dare to say it. TD, TF, IDF. Entities, NLP, all that stuff, all those possibilities of or descriptions of defining how Google is analyzing text on a page. All that stuff becomes into play when you're using real world documents. Let's see. What the hell is I going to do here? What did I talk about this week? You guys remember what I talked about this? Google is a hot mess. Gene was the only commenter. The rest of you suck. Gene was awesome. Man, what did I talk about? Let's see. Let's go make it up. We go over. More than enough. More than enough. Let's see. Did I hear that correctly? You said linking a page to itself is a ranking factor. Linking a page to itself is a ranking factor. The homepage link to the homepage to itself was proven, a couple of years ago, and it's still effective today. And linking a page to itself, that test was redone, and that still worked too. However, remember what I'd said. You can't link a page to itself with generic anchor text. Click here, read more, that kind of crap, or just general off-topic anchor text. You have to link to it with a related word or the exact match keyword. If you don't, then you're wasting your time. All right, so I got that done. Now we want to do the schema. I'm going to do the image schema first. We copy that URL, go into rank gear. Image is that. Main entity of the page is going to be my URL right here. And I gotta delete that. And do this. Hashtag image1, content URL, license URL. It's just going to be the home page. And page URL, and then go. This will be the title of the post again. I have that saved right here. And now I'm going to add image height and image width. And I want to sort some of this stuff a little bit. So I want to do name, ID, image, main entity, content URL, image width, image height. And I think it's this way. There we go. 1280 by 720. I know that because that's all of my images. Okay, so that's all there. I want to hit validate before I waste my time. I gotta take this one out. That out. That out. And that out. We had to leave those in. It's just code magic crap. And then I go to my page, custom schema. Boom. That's there. Now I want to do, actually, I'm going to save the schema. I'll make it public so everyone can use it. All right, now I'm going to go to video and need that URL again. A lot of this crap I really don't mean. I asked him to change a lot of this stuff, and it just, I don't need it. It just makes it harder. I spelled object wrong. Good thing the search results are smart. Actor, caption, director. What do we got in here? Actor. That's me. Caption, director. Embedded text caption. I don't need need that. Music by none. Don't need that. Thumbnail. Thumbnail would be. Those are weird. Let's go image. Oops. Image height and width and image URL. Let's drop that in there too. There we go. Uh, 1280 by 720 image URL. Oops, that's not what I want. I want this one. Make sure I did that right. Yep, good so far. Video frame, size, quality. I don't think I necessarily need that, but what is the quality of this stupid thing? It's 1080p. Why not? Why not put it in there? 1080p. Frame size 1280 by 720. I don't even know if that is. Yeah, is that the right? Yep, it's text, so I can do that. Transcript. Auto generated by YouTube. And let's see. Honestly, I don't think we need too much more. I could do some of the other stuff like, let's see, content URL. I could probably drop that in there. See if that's in here. Content URL. So there it is. And I'll just stick it here at the bottom. Content URL. What else we got? Let me get rid of this so I'm not always clicking it. Duration we don't really need. I'm looking for some text stuff. Religion, yeah, we don't need. Player type, we don't need. And then you have the generals of the creative works. A lot of this stuff I'll just ignore. Assesses, I don't need. Character award, I don't need. Copyright notice, I don't need. Character status, no. Encode format, no. Genre, I guess I could put genre. What do you think? Genre. Go genre. And marketing and advertising. Seems like a good genre. Let's go headline. I guess I could do headline. I could do alternative headline too if I wanted to. Just for the sake of this, I'm going to do alternative headline too. So we go headline and alternative headline. And then my headline is going to be my title, obviously. Right here. Get rid of this. And let's have some fun and show you guys how to use Quillbot for this madness. Do that. And let's see what Quillbot comes up with. There you go. Yeah, that's a good one. Complete disaster. Copy text. Now I have an alternative headline. I just want to do titles, just kind of title case. Let's see. What else we looking at? Interactivity type. No. Learning resource type. Presentation. That'll be fun. Let's do that. Learning resource type. Because most of the stuff I do is a presentation, right? Presentation. Let's see. If you guys don't know what I'm looking for, I'm looking for these. The other stuff, well, I could use that like material product, right? I could use that, but it kind of just expands things out. And in the case of this particular schema, I just don't need to get too crazy with it. Frankly, because you can go down a rabbit hole and you guys will all get bored. So, so I'm just kind of going over some of the cool stuff that we could do to implement a little bit of this schema and just kind of narrow stuff down. Search engine optimization, ranking in search engines. Ranking a website in the search. That seems good enough. Let's see. We're coming down to the end. Text I don't need. I mean, text is cool, but I don't need it. And then these are all the standard. These ones you can actually use for everything. So same as, let's see. I don't see about and mentions in there. Not in this case. Let's see. Is about in here? 1, 2, 3. Nope. Yeah, see if about dimensions are in here, we could actually bust open the topicalrelevance.com. There it is. About. Let's go mentions. There you go. So we can bust open the topicalrelevance.com. I'll show you that too. Check it out. Topicalrelevance.com. There's a free one, but I have the I paid. I use enough of his technology and stuff that it makes sense for me to pay and support him. I mean, he's supporting us by creating a pretty cool thingy. So let's go back. So you can share the screen again. I've logged in. And we are going to, you see some of the words I'm working on. Let's see. What are we going to do? I'm just going to do search engine rankings. How's that? Let that go. It's going to get the semantic keywords, or as I like to call them, to trigger the super nerds, LSI keywords. There you go. There's all our LSI keywords right there. I know some people are rolling their eyes. LSI doesn't exist. That's true. It doesn't. And I know I just need this right here. So I'm going to go to rank gear. And I'm going to about same as that's the one I need. And it knew what I needed right there. So mentions same as. I'll go to about bulk import. Click on that again. Hit that. Confirm. It's going to work. It's magic. You see it's all right there. It's already split everything apart just like it's supposed to do. And then I'll scroll down to the bottom here and do mentions. Bulk import. Come here and get my mentions. One thing that while I'm doing this, remember you're going to want to get through this list. I'm not taking the time to do it. I mean, I can scan it here real quick and I can see everything's there. Bing index, Bing Mandex, search, tags, Yahoo, they're all probably pretty much relevant. But make sure you always check that. I mean, I have, when my VAs are doing work, or my team members are doing work on the websites, I even have them do it. Once you get used to your market and stuff, you'll just know things that aren't supposed to be in there, and you can get rid of that stuff as you go. So, all right, so I got that pretty much built out. I don't think that this is going to be save that for everyone to use. Public. I don't think you really have to go beyond that. I mean, it's a video. The only thing that the videos schema is really going to do is maybe some relevancy stuff, and then maybe a little bit of maybe some video rankings. You might capture some of that stuff too. Some makes sense to add the about and mention stuff, but at the end of the day, you're really just you want to get that for the rich snippet to get the video thumbnail to show up on your web page in the search result. Is real helpful for CTR. So that's what the top part does. And then this bottom part, the about and mentions, will help with the rankings. And if you wanted to, this association here, this actor type name will tie you into the about and mentions. So as more Google sees you associated with those things, the more they'll consider you an associated entity in the knowledge graph as you continue. So when I was writing and doing a whole lot of stuff about schema, eventually in the image from Google in the image search, I think I've shown everyone this before, but when you're in the image search, you get those entity bars across the top. And as you'll find that as you write more and you're publishing more content, you're doing your schema, those get populated with the topics that you're actually writing about. So it's showing you in that visualization how you're here, and schema, SEO, content optimization, all those things are associated with you. You're part of that associated entity. And it kind of also gives you a picture of how Google analyzes content, right? So if you have a page about, let's say, Phoenix SEO is the keyword you're trying to rank for, Phoenix SEO. You have a page about SEO. You have a page about Phoenix. You have a page about, or 3 pages about the neighborhoods in Phoenix. These are all tied in, so ergo you're relevant to Phoenix SEO, right? And that's kind of it's a really good window into what Google is doing. All right, so I got this, and for the sake of everything, I'm just going to copy it out of here. I mean, I could copy it over here if I wanted to. Just push copy. Ta-da! And because I want to, should have one of these saved. There you go. I have all that about mentions. It's not even, it's spread out. So I want to minify it just for my own sanity. I'm going to drop it here. There you go. All right. So I got the schema done. That's done. That's done. That's addressed. Google News, and that it's just like do you want it or not? Save draft. Let's look at the preview. Make sure everything's working. Whoa. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I think that's my fault though. Hold on. Yep, it's my fault. Post template. Now save draft and do the preview. Ta-da. There we go. I think this is a little bit weird. I don't know, maybe I really don't want to make another picture, you know what I mean? So I got the thumbnail here, and then I use the thumbnail as a featured image. And when you see it right there, you're like, huh, that's a little odd. But when you push play, it doesn't matter anymore. So I think I'm going to leave it. And then I want to publish. I might as well go through all the steps I'm showing. I'll show you guys that I'm doing to get this stuff indexed too. So copy, view the page. All right, so we're all published. I'm going to test it. Make sure it's reading the schema. I should have, yeah, video object, image object. I didn't tie those together with add IDs, so that's totally fine. And I don't have breadcrumbs turned on, but I'm not really using them on the website anyway, so that's no big deal. That's not there. I do, or I should be doing publisher and have organization and schema on there. I'm slacking on you guys, but as we continue on the episodes, I'll maybe even next week I'll show you how I build it for a news article. I know I've been talking about that before, but I mean it's an hour. It's an hour-long thing making that template. But I got to do it. I mean, I got to do it one way or the other. So next week we'll go over that and how to do the news article where you'll tie in the organization schema as the publisher, and then you talk about this is the news article, and you set the date, times, and all that stuff. And it'll help as long as you continue to do it. It'll help the publishing of the page. It doesn't. I don't recommend. Let me be clear on this: is I don't recommend that you actually go in and do schema like full bore, like a full advanced schema until you know where your page is landing after your content optimization. So you do. My process is I write the content, I optimize it with phrase, clear scope, and in links, and then I post it. And from there, I wait a little while and see where it's going to rank. And then is when I actually implement advanced schema. If it ranks, let's say it ranks page 2. If it's on page 2, then I'll go with the advanced schema. Typically, that knocks it up to page 1, and then I can start messing around with doing things like Cora and Page Optimizer Pro and hidden divs and all that madness. I don't do, in general, advanced schema for all my articles. It's just way too much to do for that, and you can certainly manually automate a lot of advanced schema, especially if you have a good dev. One of my clients has a great dev, and he's modified the schema that comes out of Yoast and is making it pretty advanced. But the thing that he's missing at the end of the day is the about to mention stuff with the knowledge graph API. But if you do it right with Yoast, and if you guys want me to show you, let me know. You can actually use topical relevance and use Yoast at the same time and tie those together, and it's seamless. And if you want me to, just let me know in the comments, and I'll show you how to do that. That seems to as it goes, all the stuff that I do in the schema at the end of the day, it's really tying into entities. Remember the Phoenix SEO, all that stuff. That's how you tie that stuff in together and make that work. Let's see. Stefan, yeah, you want me to? Okay, yeah. I'll show you guys next week. Let me find a Yoast article or a Yoast a website that's using Yoast. I don't have any. I don't even know if I have to show you next week. It's really pretty simple, honestly. Hold on. Let's just do it. So we're gonna do it with. Do I still have that one up? Yep. Here we go. We'll do it with this one. So as you all know, that Yoast is using what's it called, @graph, to connect their stuff, and they're probably the only ones that do it, and they have it programmatically set up so it comes out right. I teach how you can do @graph at whatranks.com, but at the end of the day, it's really, doing it manually is kind of redonkulous. Let's be fair. So and trying to duplicate that, you can just use add ID. And that's kind of what led me to this cool discovery with topical relevance. So we have add ID. We're going to implement add ID into this, and I'm just going to fill these out so that we can have something done. Let's go. Where's my title? Is Yoast a complete disaster? We're going to do that. And then I want to do at ID. We're going to do at ID. And then I got to use the URL again. I don't got to, but I want to. And then I'm going to go hashtag web page. All right. Okay, and that should validate. Right. So now we're going to go to Yoast. Is it Yoast.com? You should have their own schema plugin turn on, don't you think? We'll just do this one. And I want to find their schema. Excuse me. My nose is running. You better chase it. And there's their schema. I go to the type. It's right there. And I'm guessing, unless they change something, we'll have to copy that whole line 45. That's okay. That's what we want. Yeah, it's all line 45. So I'm just going to do... No, let me do it that way. Come on, clown. Let's go. That's the hard way. Let's do view source. Should be line 45 lies. Line 49 in here. There you go. Now I got it all. All right. And here's where we put ours. Now watch this. It's going to break just to make me a liar. Web page article. So there you go. It's tied in. And then I want this. Where did I copy? There you go. Put my thingies back. There you go. Now I've combined my topical relevance with my with the Yoast. So it has the web page, it has my about and mentions, and then it has all that other stuff that Yoast is doing a good job with. Drop it in there is part of the website. There's the publisher. It's taking care of all of that stuff for me, and I get to take advantage of this. So I let the automation of the Yoast plugin do a majority of it, and then I drop in the rest using the topical relevance. So I get the best of both worlds. So hopefully that is helpful to all you guys, and you saw all that. If you need me to do that again, just let me know. But at the end of the day, what I'm really doing is finding the Yoast stuff, finding the default schema for that particular page, and then going after that add ID section, and then I'll tie those both together, and then you can test it to make sure it's work. And it should, instead of having website and article, it should, or web page and article, it should pop them together and say this is a web page with this article on it. It's no different than using has part of or is part of inside a schema. We're just doing it with the add ID thing, and that's how that and it's been working like gangbusters, in particular on websites that have the Yoast, and people just don't want to change. And frankly, honestly, I mean, now seeing that and being able to figure that out, I don't change my customers over to SEO Press Pro anymore. I'm just tying them in with add ID. It does not work as cleanly when you're doing some stuff. Like I tried it with images, Yoast puts an image in there, and then when you tie one together with the addity, it screws that up. So just keep them separate. You'll be fine. Videos, if there's a video on the page and Yoast finds it, don't add another video object and use the add ID, because again, it'll screw it up. It's just it's duplication inside of the scripts that mess that up. But for the most part, if you like the about dimensions, it's not there. So we tie that in together, and it's working pretty good. So hopefully you found that helpful. Hopefully you found this episode helpful. Again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate all of you. Leave comments down below if you want me to cover any specific topics. I will try to get back to writing for SEO this week if anyone says any interesting. If not, maybe we'll make some stuff up. I mean, everyone else does in this industry.